Ready and refresh? We have a moment. Want to start sharing?
Can you do it now?
Yes.
Well, I just want to start off.
No. Start sharing the page.
Oh!
Do the introduction, silly.
Oh, you can start.
We are professionals.
Yes, and we are also live. Hello, everyone.
Live and living color.
Welcome to Pop Culture Uncovered at Fantom Comics. A couple of days away from the Oscars. We're still within Black History Month, etc. and so forth. I'm your host, H, and with me is my illustrious crew. Starting from my right is...
Garnet.
Yeah, y'all lost me already.
What's your name is?
What's your name is, Bo?
Obsidian Diamond. How about that?
Good.
Oh.
I use these stripping names.
Oh, no.
That's a black.
My stripping name is Obsidian Diamond. Get it right. Get it right.
And
Julio Heinrich Takashi Jenkins.
oh my
That's too fucking long.
and the potty mouth on the far end is
Is this the first
yeah. Yeah, machete.
Where's Raw Mexico at? Because a gathering, this august,
It's illustrious.
Yeah, Raw Mexico gotta be somewhere around there.
I guess luscious. All right, so
Pumpkin Escobar.
we're here tonight. We're going to talk a bit about the Marvel Cinematic Universe as it relates not to just the movies, but television. How some of it might start actually, if it hasn't already, filtered into comic books. But before we get to that, first thing we are going to talk about, it is the anniversary and birthday, because they both fall one right behind the other, of Dwayne McDuffie, so we want to make some time to honor him. So, Megan, I'm going to let you start. What are your thoughts?
Well, kind of as a reflection, just to be quick, I want everybody to, if you have not heard of Dwayne McDuffie, take the time to look him up. You're probably already familiar with a lot of his work, or you're probably familiar with a lot of the influence of subsequent works that he had. He's touched in the comics world, he's touched in DC animation period. We owe a lot to him. A lot of people can know their childhoods to him, even adulthoods. I did want to take the time out to honor him and thank him for all of his hard work, even though he's no longer with us. His spirit lives on. He's done a lot for not just the comic book realm in general, but for black creators, for blurs, if you want to call them, just to feel more accepted. And just, that's all I wanted to say. I mean, without him, we would have no Justice League. We'd have no Justice League Unlimited. We would have no Static Shock. I mean, the list goes on and on. And we lost him too soon. He's sorely missed, but his legacy lives on. So definitely take some time out this week to watch one of your favorite episodes. I can definitely say my favorite episode from Justice League was the what was it, the Once and Future King, I believe it was, with the Clock King, where Batman meets old Bruce Wayne, and it was so awesome because they're meeting and they say the same thing at the same time to Terry. They're like, "Not now," and he's like, "What is that, in stereo?" So it was great.
Yeah.
I love that episode.
Yeah.
So I want to reflect on that.
Well, the one thing I wanted to bring up was I remember a few years back when Japanese Comics did a milestone exhibit, and of course, some of the features were that of Dwayne and some of his work, and there was a lot of talent in that room. And the main thing that has concerned me for the longest time is the fact that you still have a couple of the original founders of Milestone that are around. Michael Davis was there.
Dennis Cohn.
Yes, Dennis Cohn was there. And I'm like, we need you guys to really get Milestone back up and running. I mean, it was announced 2 years ago in San Diego that they were doing something, and then they just kind of went radio silent. And as much as people bitch and complain about, comic book characters, especially characters of color needing to be more visible in comics, it was like, okay, you guys are still sitting on this gold mine waiting to be tapped. What's going on? Let's bring it all together.
But they're not, because the fatal mistake was that they sold the rights back to DC.
Right.
I mean, because at this point, Milestone is for the DC universe what the Ultraverse is for Marvel, in terms of people who have been reading comics for a long time. Remember characters like Prime and Mantra and all that stuff. Marvel owns that stuff lock, stock, and barrel, and there's no special reason for them to bring those characters back out. I know the rights are a little complicated, but it is what it is. Milestone is the most marketable, most valuable thing is Static Shock. And then beyond that, you really have a collection of characters that I will tell you that it was shocking they got put out in the 90s. And to be honest, I don't think America is in an emotionally comfortable place to address them now. Because when you talk about icon, you'd have a lifetime of arguments behind respectability politics.
Yeah.
You do hardware, you're going to have a 1,000-year conversation about the cultural appropriation, not to mention intellectual appropriation of the creations of African Americans. Those characters are so far ahead of their time. Contemporary America still hasn't caught up to the demand. I mean, Blood Syndicate. You could sit and we do Blood Syndicate and have an entire conversation about Black Lives Matter, Chicago, the way people try to make arguments behind the black community needing to be absolutely perfect in order to be justified for any type of economic or support. I mean, at the end of the day, I look at DC and I'm kind of like, with their parent company, getting ready to change. Because DC, because Warner got bought.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right.
By who?
AT&T.
Yeah.
What?
It went through? It's in regulatory negotiations.
Okay.
But seeing how the Disney deal went through, the Comcast Universal deal went through,
But AT&T is a phone company.
Well, we're gonna have we can have a long conversation behind
how many times they have their fingers in.
Right.
The long conversation is I just don't think we're at a moment where I think there's a financial justification to bring those characters out because simplest explanation, you see that most of them aren't in trades.
Yeah.
I own almost all that stuff in single issues off stuff on eBay. Why? There's one trade for some of that stuff, and for the rest of them, they just not
Let me jump in. I want to ask this one question to you guys, and then we can really move on for what we came here tonight. Chris Wanamaker blamed Reggie Helen for what is going on with Milestone. And Armand, since you're more in the know than a lot of us are, do you agree or disagree with that assessment?
I mean,
a lot of people have blamed him.
He might have more information than I do, so I'll be fair on that. I'll say that it didn't make strategic sense to me for the fact for them to sell the rights back to DC, because the argument was DC was going to do something, and I'm like, the last time you saw those characters was in that horrible Justice League crossover, which that was Dwayne McDuffie's run on Justice League, I think, where they basically editorially told him what he couldn't do at the last minute. So it was probably one of the worst things that he wrote, and it wasn't his fault. DC was like, you can do this but not that. It was like, what's that line?
And that undermines the whole
thing.
story.
I mean, it's like that line with Al Pacino for The Devil's Advocate. When the devil's complaining about God, you can look, but don't touch.
But don't touch it.
You can taste,
touch,
but don't taste, but don't swallow. And that's how the storyline ran. And that's how DC felt about those characters the last time they were in print. So the decision to then turn around and say you're going to enter into a cooperative, agreement with DC to put these characters back out there is kind of like, you can see that the mercenaries and the blood out there and the blood's in the water. But I'll say this: the characters deserve to be out there because at the end of the day, for the conversation we'll probably have about Marvel tonight, people of color have to create characters in their own universes to tell their own stories. Because until then, you will always get arguments behind stuff like Iron Fist, the problems with Doctor Strange. Because as long as you have other people dictating the terms of which characters of color will appear, you will never actually get good people of color stories. It is somebody else telling you, you can do this, but this is a line too far. You come off a little angry right here.
Right. So which pushes me right into why we're here tonight. We're here to talk about the state of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Can I
get
into something before we go into that real quick?
What's that?
When Ron Wimberly, he actually recently wrote his book Black History in Its Own Words, and during the signing here at Fantom, he had talked a lot about essentially people of color having to create their own, instead of like trying to work with the system, they should just create their own system, but also instead of it just being like well known because it's done by POC, it's also well known because like the companies have like good ethics. All the people want to join the company because they pay well, they treat their employees and clients well. Like, you set a standard by starting your own things, because trying to infiltrate the already established like system and companies and stuff like that really hasn't worked for the longest time, and which is why he ended up actually publishing his own book. It's just like this book where he has quotes and images of black figures that he finds to be underrepresented.
Mm-hmm.
And if they are famous, he'll use quotes that people usually wouldn't expect. So like his book doesn't have MLK or like Rosa Parks or Malcolm X, but it has like Sojourner Truth and then like Dave Chappelle. So that's just an
No,
interesting
I mean,
point
I would
that's
co-sign
brought
everything
up.
you said because that's ultimately the argument between like the Negro League and integrating into Major League Baseball.
Right.
You know, I'm sure one day we will have a podcast. You know, whether or not integration was a failure in regards to the black community. Well, I can't wait. My job to do that podcast. But
Yeah, you can't do that one.
And we should, because you know what, and again, you know, because this is leading right into the conversation we should be having tonight.
Right.
Is when you look at what's going on, you know, behind the scenes at, you know, a lot of these publishers, it's the fact that, you know, you got black creators, they're creating their own characters because, I mean, even if they do break into the ranks of Marvel and DC, they're still co-opting characters that have been created by other people for so long. I mean, granted, you know, Ta-Nehisi Coates has done a great run with Black Panther, and I can't wait to see the Black Panther movie, but all he was just, you know, doing guardianship for that character. He was just, you know, being like a custodian.
Well,
Now, with that said, now I want to cut it. I want to cut it because, like I said, you know, we got so much we want to talk about. But, you know, when you're looking at the state of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and how they're setting the stage for Infinity Wars and how Black Panther is going to fit in, you know, people are excited, but, you know, this is something that, you know, Armand and I have talked about before, is, you know, with such a saturation of movies, is that same excitement there as it has been, like, say, years ago? And actually, I'm going to toss that one to you, Kay, since you've been quiet out here now. So, go ahead.
I don't know. My whole stance on the, you know, state of the Marvel Cinematic Universe in general, I mean, it is what it is. It's a good, you know, machine in terms of, you know, cranking out product, hitting a lot of different audience bases, and keeping everyone happy. I'm definitely excited for Black Panther just because it's actually coming out next year, which is the same year that, you know, which is like almost 20 years since Blade came out, which was probably the last time we saw a black superhero headline his own movie. So that's a big deal on its own, and it's kind of and it's definitely a shame that it's taken this long to get another black character to headline their own comic book film.
you skipping Meteor Man, man. Robert Townsend.
That was before Blade.
I know. This is called being difficult, internet.
I swear to God. But
That's called being petty.
yeah, it is. I'm definitely keeping an eye out on Black Panther. I actually posted an article about a Guyanese actress who's going to be in the film, and I happen to be half Guyanese, so that was something that I took as, you know, a little bit of pride for my own heritage, and it was crazy to see the response to that because a lot of people really picked up on it, more so than the casting of all the other people they've had so far. Just, okay, you've got Forrest Whitaker, you've got Angela Bassett. I'm still waiting to see when Morgan Freeman go and get cast because I feel like that's going to happen. But like that stuff doesn't, you know, so that stuff only, you know, is going to get me so excited for something that you're already on board for. You're already kind of preaching to the choir, waiting to. I mean, at this point now, honestly, I don't know how much more excited I'm going to get for it until I start seeing footage.
And I think that's always the thing for me now is I've gotten to a point with a lot of these movies where it used to be because they came out so sparingly, I would get excited just by hearing the announcement. And now it's like, yeah, I was just waiting for the trailer, and then as soon as the first trailer pops up, I already know whether or not I want to see it. I don't even see no more trailers after that. Because, you know, they'll come out with like 10 trailers before they come out with the movie, and the Red Band, and the
they'll have the international trailer, which is just the regular trailer with like 15 less seconds.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that crap.
So I mean, is what the Marvel Universe doing? I think the question we really need to be asking is if the Marvel Universe, what they're doing now cinematically, is it still something viable that's going to still hold up until we get to the Infinity War? And what's going to happen after the Infinity War?
I mean, is it going to hold up until Infinity War?
Yes.
Yeah, it'll hold up.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
But the problem is that we're not talking about the same thing anymore. What the Marvel Universe was when we talking about when it was Marvel Studios.
Mm-hmm.
And now that we've drifted into the, you know, we are in the house of the mouse. it's a different ballgame. And to my picture perfect example of that is Doctor Strange, which is AKA Iron Man with magic.
Which came out last week.
But you can literally sit there and formulaically just draw up. You could just predict. It was like a paint by numbers example of how to do a superhero movie, with only the twist ending being okay, these last 2.5 minutes of film, were visually appealing. It was a great Doctor Strange's ending. So I'll give them that. But beyond that, it's look, these films right now represent, these are things that you announce to the investors as you are doing, the Q2 announcement. We project Black Panther will do X amount of money. Black Panther merchandising will do X amount. We have X amount of toys available for Halloween, for dress up. They're not films anymore. What you're talking about is it's not just branding. One of the best entities responsible for the complete and total control and manipulation of intellectual property, basically playing with what was originally a really unique idea, creating a shared universe of films and then bringing them all together. Now it's Doctor Strange ties so tangentially into the larger Infinity War thing. It was the first time it felt shoehorned in. Which, spoiler, it's out on DVD. If the Eye of Agamotto all of a sudden is now in the Infinity Stone, that was kind of that's like being, one time at band camp, come on, Armand. Nah, for real. Right. One time at band camp, for real. That's what it felt like. Go ahead.
No, and it's kind of funny because I remember when Iron Man 2 came out, and a lot of fans had a problem with it serving as sort of like a stepping stone to Avengers. And now, all these other movies are just stepping stones to Infinity War, and everyone's changed their tune. And I don't know how to feel about that because obviously there's, I like to call people out on their hypocrisy sometimes, but at the same time, I know I've had thoughts that will contradict previous thoughts that I've had before, and it's, there's a spectrum to it. So that is still kind of like a big sticking point for me because because I remember as much as people loved Guardians of the Galaxy, most people were mad as hell that the after credit scene was just the Howard the Duck cameo. A lot of people still really liked it, but there were also a lot of people vocal about the fact that it didn't lead into the next movie or into something big.
Iron Man 2 and 3 were bad though. That's the thing. Look,
3 was
that's the difference. People aren't ticked off if stuff linked together, and I'm gonna shut up in a second because I want to hear other people speak. But people don't get ticked off about stuff building into each other. At least I don't think. I think people get ticked off when it's kind of should this film have been made? If for you to do Iron Man 3, we've been trying to recover from the stupidity of Iron Man 3. Because it's literally Tony, you blew up all your suits behind Pepper, and now she left you, and you're back to doing the stuff you were doing before. What was the point of Iron Man 3? I don't know, Armand. We had to have a third movie.
Iron Man 3 didn't lead into anywhere. Thor 2 really didn't all that much lead to anywhere.
But the thing, for me, I'm someone who likes Iron Man 3 as its own film. Just because I'm a fan of Shane Black, I've followed his career.
Masochist.
Whatever. In any event, that's kind of one of the things where I think we've gotten too tied into watching all of these films as just a whole collection of one big story, and it's sort of a detriment if you can't, watch some of these films and just separate them from whatever grand picture that they're trying to pull off. Because I'll tell you right now, as much as I'm looking forward to Infinity War, I'm not going Banana Nut Crunch 8 poop for it yet. I know a lot of people went crazy when the announcement video came out, and I'll let Harry, lead us into that point.
But also, I'm sorry, before you get to that, I think also we also have to understand that everybody, the studios, the fans, the new consumer, the layperson, if you will, this is all a journey. Mm-hmm. This is new territory. It's a very long journey. This is something new that's been happening with Marvel Universe, having these these movies leading into this one culminating event. So a lot of stuff is trial and error. Whether we like it or not, it's just very highly refined and polished trial and error. So there's not always going to be, for every Civil War, there's going to be Iron Man 3. And that's just the nature of the business, period. There's not always, we've talked about it before, trilogies. once you get to the third movie, there's always gonna be some trash at some point.
Unless you're doing Thor, in which case we ain't seen a good one yet.
Oh,
there's only 2 of them. Actually, this is what I want to do at this point.
I like the first.
You know, for those of you all that can't see, we actually have our peanut gallery here. Say hi, everybody.
Hi, Nana.
Yeah. So actually, I want to come to Clement because I know he had some thoughts on his mind. So, what are some of your thoughts, man?
I think you guys brought up great points overall in the Marvel Universe and everything. Yeah, it has got a little bit paint by numbers. I actually did not see Doctor Strange in the theater. I actually watched it international viewing, as some people like to call it. So I didn't get I didn't get all the spectacle.
About Cody?
That's my boy. Cody's my boy. So, but I didn't get the spectacle, which I kind of do miss. That I didn't go to the theater to actually see the spectacle, because the story overall wasn't nothing spectacular. And I think Armand is correct. The fact that Agamotto's happens to be an Infinity Stone is just so cheesy.
It worked. I mean, it works contextually for film and for the general audience.
But it was as bad as the Ether in Thor 2. Is at the end of the day, is the need to link this stuff in place. The same thing that makes them films good or what makes them bad. Captain America is great because everything ties together. You know,
Right.
Winter Soldier builds perfectly, Civil Wars builds perfectly. Those films are a unit, and left alone, they're not, the first one left alone, they're nowhere near as good. But at the same time, it's kind of like trying to shoehorn everything into the Infinity War is coming, which I'm going to tell you, Infinity War, in my personal opinion, there's no way it's going to play out the way it should. For the simple reason, the same reason why Civil War couldn't. You used every character in the Marvel Universe to tell that story. There's no way you can communicate how dangerous Thanos is when you got a handful of Avengers. When you saw him in the comics, you were like, oh snap, Wolverine just got 86. Thanos broke Cap's shield and killed him. It's like, at the end of the day, you had every assembled characters you haven't even seen yet got killed. And remember, Thanos killed half of the universe by. So to do that story, just like with Civil War, they had to find some way to make this Civil War. You're not. It's right. This is not the Infinity Gauntlet. This is an Infinity movie that the board of directors at Disney said for marketing reasons this has to happen, and Josh Brolin was available film.
Bell actually brought up a good question, which made me chuckle.
Yes.
Why are all the Infinity Stones on Earth? Why?
Well, the Ether was in Asgard. Then it got released.
Yeah.
And the orb was not on Earth either.
But a lot of them are.
Yeah.
Really?
That's a lot.
Because it's too much CGI to do them in other places.
Hey, we got Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
But another issue that I have, especially when you brought up with Civil War, I'm like, they should have not even touched, like...
Try to speak up.
I think that they shouldn't haven't even touched the concept of, like, Civil War until...
They needed the name for branding.
I know, but, like, I feel like they should have just added more of the characters. Like, it just... The whole... Like, how do you do such a gigantic event that had so many different characters in the Marvel Universe for their comics without all those characters?
I got a better one for you. How do you do an event like that had so many layers?
Mm-hmm.
Because even though I got around to reading it late, when I read through Civil War, when I saw what was on the screen, now mind you, I enjoyed Civil War for what it was, for what it presented on the screen. I enjoyed it, but yes, the biggest failing is Civil War, the actual event. There were so many moving pieces involved and characters that got involved in different ways. I'm just talking about the main book. I'm not even talking about the side books. I'm talking about within the main books. Like the whole thing with T'Challa not even really wanting to get involved because like, look, I ain't got nothing to do with this. Tony, Tony, you and Steve, y'all need to just kind of sit down and just find a way to figure this out. No, the movie was more or less, this is what it reminds me of, is when you take a kid, he has toys. He got a bunch of toys on this side, he got a bunch of toys on this side, and
that's basically all it was.
That's basically what that movie was.
And that's the reason why, look, you did Captain America Winter Soldier, where that was got to be the best mainstream pop film to try to address serious issues that I think we've seen in this generation. And so coming off that, if thematically you were like, well, the alley is up there, where's DeAndre Jordan? We can get this thing. And they were like, we'll go for the layup. And that was the problem. You could have had a much more significant conversation. I mean, you literally had a film that was entirely about government surveillance and the underlying concerns and problems, which was what the comic was about. The comic was a way to write an intelligent discussion about the Patriot Act and to say there are reasons to be for it, there are reasons to be against it.
Yep. And the movie started off that way.
Right. And at the end of the day, it was like
it was a revenge flick.
You know, Tony, if anything ever happens, I mean, literally, you went an entire character arc to end with the fact that even though we almost just killed each other, I'm basically at the same place that I was at the end of the first Avengers movie. I don't like you, but I love you. And it was all that for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
It was a giant
To say nothing of the fact that with everything that had happened leading up to Civil War, where it's like, okay, we've had an alien invasion. We've had, like, an interdimensional cluster in Thor 2, where you would think that would be enough for people to be concerned.
We had a robot that dropped the city.
Right?
Yeah.
Country.
Thank you.
Whatever. Yeah. In any event, it's kind of like the same joke people make about the comic, which is like the most unbelievable thing about Civil War, the comic, is that the government would take action after a school bus full of kids died, which is a terrible. Yeah, it's terribly dark. But I mean, it's kind of the same thing with Civil War, that the government would take action when a dozen black people die.
Yeah. So that.
So I mean, that was my one sticking point. But you know, I got past that because Black Panther was awesome.
Yeah, I want to.
The airport fight was dope. Yeah.
I want to hit one last point before we actually move on to talking about Netflix. And I would want to say, like, as much as I love the first Avengers movie, the second one I wasn't all that crazy about, but
I couldn't imagine why.
But Soretti, to get back to what we was talking about, comic books and comic book movies being modern myths, the one thing that I did get out of that movie was this was the modern retelling of Frankenstein. Think about it. I mean, it started off while Tony Stark realized, hey, I'm too busy to be all over the place saving the world, so I'm gonna make these assistants. Hey, these assistants are doing great. Let's give them a break. Okay, let's give them emotion. Oh, wait a minute. I think we messed up.
And that's why it was horrible. Because let's see. How many times has that story been done? Do you remember Gregory Hines and Eve of Destruction?
Yep.
Okay.
Wow, that's random.
Okay, but I'm saying, Frankenstein conceptually is an idea that is so old. It's like it makes Twilight's use of vampires look like it's revolutionary. It's just look at the end of the day. I'm just saying. At the end of the day, you know what the real story point that they left out was when the response of everybody in that country to when the drone showed up and they were like, we don't want American imperialism here. That was the conversation. By what right have the Avengers thrust themselves upon the world without consent? That's how you get to Civil War. But you don't have that conversation. You have
that conversation for 5 minutes in Civil War.
Right. What do you have instead? I got an idea. We just found something the villain was working on. Let's just slam it in and see how it turns out. You wouldn't do that. Like, hey, we sell drugs. We just found a batch of drugs from our competitor. Let's just start storing it. He'd never do anything to the drugs that cause us to have our customers to OD or us to go to jail, right? So it's like, no.
It's starting to sound like a bad Archer plot. Oh, wait, that was a bad Archer plot.
Yes! Yeah, it was.
It was a season.
The problem is, apparently there's a deleted scene from Civil War when, Hawkeye and Steve had ran past this wall that had, a graffiti. No, it had a graffiti of Captain America and it had, fascist. Painted over his face or something like that, but that ended up being a deleted scene. But that would have been interesting to see in the movie to start a conversation.
Yeah, because you know what, and the whole thing.
I think this is also Disney though.
Yeah.
Too. So it's not. But I'm saying it's not going to go as far as you want it. You think it should go.
No, I agree because but you did Winter Soldier though. There's
exactly.
That's the thing. I'm not asking for anything new. You did Winter Soldier, and when that movie came out, everybody was like, "Oh my God!"
Yeah.
People treated Winter Soldier. That was like comic book porn. People, that type of stuff stuff like, you remember you would come back to your
I
dorm room.
basically had a conversation about porn.
I'll say you would come back to your dorm room when you were in college, and you could hear the sounds from outside the room, like, oh God, not again. You couldn't go 5 feet and not have a friend. You know, Armand, I was watching Winter Soldier. Brother, have you watched anything else this month?
No.
Are you? No.
Are you going to watch anything else this month?
No, I'm gonna watch the deleted scenes. It's like, so it was that successful. Look,
but let's
what
also
worked. That's all I'm saying.
But let's add in there also before we move to Netflix, the fact that Ultron was used so poorly. Because Ultron is like, if Thanos is up here, Ultron is at least like right here somewhere. Hard to get rid of, hard to deal with, hard to figure out, because Ultron is like 5 steps ahead of you.
He was also created by like Hank Pym, wasn't he?
Well, that's a whole nother
We're going to talk about Netflix now. Because that's a whole nother. That's a whole nother. Now, this is the other thing. It's it's always been amazing. You always hear these debates that have been coming up for the past 10 or so years, how both comic companies, one's doing this in movies, one's doing this in television, one's doing this, blah, blah, blah. And I've said it so many times. It's freaking amazing how Marvel, owned by Disney, is knocking it out of the park on Netflix.
Oh yes,
that's
I'm not understanding this, because Netflix is more accessible than it is the movie theater. I can just turn on Netflix right now and have trauma from get trauma from watching Jessica Jones, because it will never be on the big screen. But then you get something like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
done by the same division of ABC, doing all the same people. That's the Steve. What's up, by the way, man? Thank you for joining the show.
Hey, Steve, I invited Steve.
Steve, thank you for coming to the. Thank you for responding to the invite. But no, it's the same people, and it's horrible. I just can't get past it. Look, Netflix, for everything we've complained about so far tonight, Netflix does differently.
They do better.
You didn't get 65,000 different trailers for Luke Cage. By the time you got to the real big trailer for Luke Cage, it was
practically on.
It was practically on. They had the right song. They had sculpted that whole trailer.
Hold on, Sean, you hate what? What show do you hate?
That's not Sean.
I mean, I'm sorry, Sultan. Excuse me.
I think he hates Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh,
I'm guessing he's talking about.
If he says he hates Luke Cage, we can kick him out of stuff.
Well, I mean,
my boy Osei says concerned about Iron Fist looking like he's used to being a '90s boy band, though.
Oh, that's not fair.
I mean, that is Sir Morris.
He wasn't in a '90s boy. He was in an '80s boy band. Iron Fist looks like he should be singing.
And that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna get to that too. Thank you, Simply. It's a whole network TV is different than Netflix. Netflix can basically do whatever. I mean, I don't think they can do everything they want. But it's a different, it's a whole different platform.
They got Black Mirror.
Let me come back 1 second. Okay. Because see, this is the thing that has blown me with Marvel stuff being on television. It's the fact, and Armand knows where I am on this, that when Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. first came on, love it or hate it, it was still mind-boggling that after 30 years of there not being any mainstream Marvel shows on television, when you had back in 78 and 80s, when you had Hulk, when you had Spider-Man, and there's one other, when you had those Captain Americas, that's why I couldn't remember. But the first
you also
show,
had that Doctor Strange TV movie.
Oh God! No, stop! Shut up! Shut up!
Ew.
But the first thing that you put on is a show that features none of the characters that we ever heard of.
Right? Yeah.
With the exception of Agent Coulson.
Brandon, you're funny. Hi, Brandon.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fight these almost supervillains, expect us to believe they all call on a super. Right?
Thank you.
Well,
right?
No,
thank you. Because that was kind of the point.
That's why I'm laughing.
Here's what I said about like after maybe like halfway through the second season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. This should have originally been an ABC family show called S.H.I.E.L.D. Academy.
Yeah.
And it should have been an ABC family.
Yes. Peanut gallery.
Question from the peanut gallery, but more like.
Speak up.
My biggest issue with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., because I did the same thing most people did when they watched it, and that was, okay, I'm here, but now what?
Now,
Right.
Right.
And that's what never pulled me
And
in. That should never pulled me in.
Never
because
should have happened. Never should have happened.
It doesn't look like
Well,
anything I want to see.
see,
It feels like a filler. It feels like
It
filler.
feels
You know,
like
it's
it's still in the
like
gap, so it
TV
doesn't have to be
show
there. Yeah.
version of fillers and anime.
Okay, look, let's be real. There were more superheroes in the trial of the Incredible Hulk than there are in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right.
In three,
All you needed was
like three seasons.
Right.
Right, so it's like, look, no one cares about the Inhumans. No one cares about the Inhumans. There's a reason why it got downgraded from being a film to a TV show. Because nobody cares about the Inhumans. And that, at this point, that's
selling.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, right. Because
I would
even
much
in the
rather
comics,
see the Shi'ar Empire.
even in the comics, they have done. Well, not Fox. Even in the comics, the Inhumans have been so overdone that it's like what you said. We're sick of them now. But I mean, because look at it like this: when Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. started, the problem with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was that it relied so much on callbacks to all the movies.
Yeah.
You know, they were using them to hype up Thor. Like, well, yeah, this week we're gonna have Lady Sif on. You better watch it because it's gonna make sense in the movie later on. Oh, wait a minute, we're getting ready to come out with that Captain America Winter Soldier movie. You better watch these 2 episodes because it's gonna make the movie make sense. And I'm just like, really though. Really?
To call back to what you were saying earlier about like we could have had a conversation. That's why I think like after Winter Soldier came out, or my fault, after Avengers came out,
Yeah.
that should have been Damage Control.
Yes.
Like that should have been something else.
Like they got
where like we could have had a conversation about like street level, like what's going on in the street. Like, oh well, you know, stuff blows up, people die, we have to clean this up. Like
Right.
there should have been a different idea.
And that would have made that would have right.
You know,
What should have, and actually, that from what I heard, that still is in development.
Yeah.
For the stuff that they have on Netflix now, before we even really get into the heart of that, I still think that's how Marvel should have started off on television. They could have taken any of a number of heroes that they probably weren't using for the movies.
Right.
And started them. Because look at what the DC Universe is doing. Even though they're not trying them in the movie, you got Flash, you got Green Arrow, and Supergirl. No matter if you love them or hate them.
Did you say Batman? Because I could have sworn you said Batman. Because Arrow was Batman.
That was his own thing.
Hold on. Because we're not going to stay there because that's a different conversation. But the point has always been with those 3 shows, love them or hate them, you are guaranteed every time you turn that show on, you're going to see those characters show up.
Right.
That's why I get mad every time I turn on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like the closest thing that you had for the course of a season was Ghost Rider.
Yeah. Ghost Rider.
Why couldn't Ghost Rider gotten his own show?
Why didn't Ghost Rider have his own?
Because I wouldn't have wanted to see them try and pull off those effects every week. You have a very limited.
You can get out.
No. Because you have a very limited amount of time that he can be Ghost Rider based on like.
You know how popular Supernatural is.
No, you don't.
Y'all could have done a Ghost Rider show.
But you know the reason why that's not true? Because you don't necessarily have to have a 22 episode season anymore.
Right.
You could have said we want to do 10 episodes of network television of a good
Agent
show
Carter.
with good CGI,
Agent
and
Carter.
people would
Where's
have
Agent
showed
Carter
up.
now?
Oop.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Okay, well,
as someone who enjoyed Agent
But
Carter,
still.
Oh, please.
where's Agent Carter now?
Where's Agent Carter? When you treat a show as a mid-season replacement, you barely promote it. And let's be perfectly honest, and America's basically misogynistic, so you would have really had to have pushed that show to begin with.
Basically?
Okay, fine. Inherently.
Fundamentally.
Hold on.
But that's kind of a weak argument to make on a network at ABC where women pretty much run Thursday night.
Well.
Okay,
but not in the
He ain't
realm of
lying.
comics. But not in the realm of
But he
comics.
ain't lying.
That's a big thing.
Hold on.
I used to be a Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. hater. I watched the first season, couldn't get through the first season. I came back kind of in and out. Now it's actually better. This season to me has been the best season of the show so far. And I think because they did stop the 22 episode season and try to break it up into pieces. So you had your Ghost Riders, they're doing LMD now, and then next they're going to go on, looks like possibly MODOK or something else going to be tied in later on. Hydra's going to be tied in later with this virtual reality thing they're doing now. So this season has actually been really, really good. I'm surprised, I'm shocked. But yeah, I hated the first season, and it kept losing me the second and third season. So I 100% agree with that, but it's gotten a lot better now. It has
Let me bring these 2 points up. Steve Howard says, the strengths of the Marvel Cinematic Universe over any DC Comics to film property revolve around the fact that no matter whether or not the shows are likable, they maintain continuity.
Continuity.
Thank you. If Fury appears on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it'll be Sam Jackson, not someone else. Greg Berlanti runs Supergirl and Flash, and still has to do the whole alternate universe shtick. Which
Oh no, that matters.
He makes a good point.
That matters. You know why? Because that's the exact reason why Marvel is easier to read than DC. For DC, and I have told Harry for years, when your friends ask you a DC question, you got to let me bring out my copy of Who's Who. Let me give you a copy of Infinite Crisis. Let me show you Final Crisis. You have to have a PhD in DC.
Let me give you a cyanide pill to take every
right.
Okay, that is very true.
DC's a mess.
Second thing I want to bring up, Max Tanzer said if Power Rangers made it work, they could have made Ghost Rider work.
Hey.
Bam.
Yeah, because I mean, you know, in the whole, you know what? Two things in the whole pantheon of Marvel characters that they got out there. I'm sure, you know, if they didn't want to put them on Netflix, because I mean, look, they got Luke Cage and Daredevil and Jessica Jones. They could have pulled another Marvel character which might not have been so special effects heavy.
Punisher.
Cloak and Dagger.
Punisher's already
about to get
done.
Cloak and Dagger about to get their own TV show.
Cloak and Dagger's going to be on Freeform.
Which I think is going to be hard to do. I'll come to that in a second. But, you know, the other point, did I lose my second point?
I think you did.
I probably did.
It's all right.
I'm tired.
Otherwise, it's going to be on
He's
Hulu.
so old. He's so old.
Yeah. But it's just the idea. I remembered it now. I feel like what's going on is that Marvel is hoarding their characters, and I always make this analogy to WWE pay-per-view. If there's certain characters that you absolutely want to see, you have to pay to play.
Yeah.
You're not going to see them on television. You're only going to get them in the theater. We're going to get our money out front. You're not going to see Iron Man on television. Although, you know, DC has already proven with Arrow and Legends of Tomorrow, Iron Man is theoretically doable on television.
Adam was horrible for the record too.
It was horrible, but it just still showed that.
But it was there.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, so like there's Legends of Tomorrow, and then there's also Gotham. So it's like 5 TV shows.
Damn. Okay, Gotham.
I got a whole thing on
Gotham could be like, I could teach
Terrible.
a dissertation on the reason why Gotham is a failed idea.
I'm not saying that it's a good one. I'm just saying that they have 5 TV shows that 4 of them are actually doing well.
Black Lightning's about to come out.
Yes, that's what I'm most excited for. Black Lightning. I really want to see that.
I got my fingers crossed for that. So much.
No, I'm not even just that, but he has a daughter.
Oh,
who is queer.
yeah.
Two daughters.
No, I'm saying a daughter that's queer.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's going to be definitely a major sticking point. He's an older hero, so we don't get to see that point of view, and he's a father. So we're going to be. It's not just because he's black. Because I'm 100% black. We know this.
You know what's funny?
Check my face.
Hold on. Did they put all that in the pilot?
I don't know, but I'm saying that's the realm that they can be touching on, and this is Fox.
I am enjoying the conversation with our folks now because they're going in on the Power Rangers. And Gotham. I love y'all out there.
I'm not feeling that movie.
I love y'all out there. But you know what? Getting deeper into the whole Netflix deal, I'm still enjoying what they've done with everything that they've tossed in. You know what they've done with Daredevil. With what I couldn't get through Jessica Jones, but you know I heard it's good. But what they've done with Luke Cage, you know I'm looking for Punisher. I'm looking forward to Punisher.
I can't wait. Frank Castle.
Calm that down over there.
That was he was amazing. Just the episodes and scenes that he was in.
Let me cut 1 second. Let me ask you guys out there in our internet audience, off the top of your heads, think of any characters that you thought would have made a good Marvel show.
Rattle them off.
Just rattle some off. I'm curious to hear. But it's still just amazing. Like
a brother on a skateboard that's got knives in it.
You know what?
Oh, God.
Don't act like in the 90s you ain't reading Night Rider. Like, there's a brother who's running this on TV, got a bulletproof skateboard.
Blade.
Yep.
Blade's been done, but
Blade
you know what?
is a TV show?
But can you imagine Blade on Netflix?
Blade on Netflix.
Blade on Netflix was
It better be better than Blade on Spike.
Are we keeping Wesley Snipes? Because
No.
they're still saying people have been begging for him to come.
We recast. We recast that.
No,
You recast that. That's easily recastable.
No,
He can be whistling now.
Two instances I have that honestly would be like probably more animated than they would live action, although I would like to see one of these. I'd like to see either of these in live action.
You just reminded me of something. Go ahead.
Power Pack.
Miles Morales. I want to see that as a Power Pack.
And Next Wave. The fact that you're not doing anything with Next Wave kind of bothers me.
I want the Runaways to be a
Hulu.
Netflix.
Hulu.
That's not, you want it on Netflix.
I want it on Netflix though. That's what I wanted to say.
Why?
Okay, one of our people,
The power, probably
Brandon Murphy in our audience says Miles Morales Spider-Man. I'm sorry.
I don't know if I want to see that in a TV show.
That's going to be in the movie.
I was saying, I don't know if I want to see that
Animated.
in a TV show.
I want to see that as a movie because I feel like a character like Miles Morales done on television, it's not going.
You know what? I do want to see that on television. I want to see that on Netflix for one reason, because Miles Morales is more interesting as a human being than when he's not on costume than sometimes when he is. And I would, because to be honest, the value the value of Miles Morales is, when was the last time we saw a normal, hyper intelligent, kind hearted, Afro Latino on anything? I would love to see that on a week in, week out basis. Plus, he's a legacy character. I would love to be able to let him be what he really is. Despite the original Spider-Man's dead, this is somebody who's trying to honor that legacy and let there be Gwen Stacy and Aunt May and the way they tied everybody in. Wow, my '90s people.
Frank went there.
Hi, Franklin.
Sleepwalker. What about Sleepwalker? If you're gonna do Darkhawk, you should.
Yeah.
But my NFL Pro came out the same time as this.
Now, you know what? I like the idea of Moon Knight. I like the idea of Moon Knight, as long as it's not.
Moon Knight on Netflix.
yeah, Moon Knight.
Moon Girl Devil Dinosaur. I'm sorry.
Moon Knight would be an interesting Netflix TV show.
Can I tell you something?
The visual
if my,
effects are
if
known
my
to
life
kill
is
that
ever
shit.
in danger, I'm not calling my homies. I'm calling you.
But here's the question though. Here's the question. Where DC is also always releasing these straight to video animated movies. What happened to the Marvel ones? Marvel was letting them out in the early 2000s and all that.
Yeah, because they had to deal with Lionsgate.
Oh.
And that's why we got that profoundly atrocious Man-Thing movie.
Oh,
I don't remember that one.
The story of the Man-Thing movie is just hilarious.
Stop.
Fake Swamp Thing.
Well, no, but I mean, it was like this whole thing where they were going to put it out in theaters. Then they said they were going to do it direct to DVD. Then it just ended up, they just dumped it on Sci-Fi.
Sci-fi, where science fiction goes to
die.
Not necessarily.
I like The Expanse.
The Expanse. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, but how long has it been since a great show? They've let a great show develop and continue and fully flesh out a story and then end it at a proper moment. When was the last time they've done that?
Being Human.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
I was trying.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
British version was better.
I was trying.
Okay, whatever. But
That was my
yeah.
trump card.
That's
The Expanse was my trump card. So.
yeah, exactly. You're not. Don't say Trump cover.
You know what I like to see? You know what I like
No
to see?
more.
Dark Matter.
Bishop
It's pretty good.
Cable on
Dark
HBO.
Matter, Lost Girl.
12 Monkeys.
Ooh, Lost Girl though.
Yeah.
God.
That would be
Cat,
interesting.
Cat. Bishop and Cable on HBO.
Say what?
Bishop and Cable on HBO.
Nighthawk on HBO.
Who's gonna play
written by
Bishop?
David Walker.
That's Fox though.
Oh, I would. Yes. Yes.
Jubilee could be interesting as a character.
But what is it? But you know, here's give me a
That's
You know, I like Jubilee.
No, it's not that she. I mean, I'm trying to see what would we do with her though. Like,
You'd have to
How
get
would
somebody
you-
really. You really gotta write that
what
well.
would you do with her?
That's the point. But like that's what would make it interesting. Like
Yeah.
for example, like Captain America. Like at the beginning, before they like created the movie.
Yes, but
and
we're
stuff.
talking about Marvel. But yes,
What?
he said icon.
No, but like all the like, for example, like there's like all these like B-list superheroes and like characters that people kind of actually didn't look at all or like care about until the movies came out. And like, or example, Jessica Jones. People really didn't think about her as a character until, like, I'm talking about like your like public
Yeah.
mass audience about her until the TV show came out, and then now people love seeing stuff about her. Another character that would be interesting to see in like either a movie or a TV show, Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
Well,
Which version too?
Kamala
Kamala
Khan.
Khan.
Kamala
Okay. I was like, we definitely
That
want
would
to
be
make sure.
interesting.
Yeah,
And
Captain Marvel
that would
already getting
probably
a
be
movie.
like a ABC Family.
I hope not. American Chavez.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's in terms of stuff I would love to see.
Yeah, but you know what, man?
I think that would be a great TV show.
Hold on, stuff that we love to see, but let's look at what's upcoming and why it has issues. Iron Fist.
I mean,
Why
look,
does he have a beard?
Okay, Iron Fist has issues for one basic reason. Because look, at the end of the day, it was a wonderful opportunity to cast an Asian American or somebody of Asian descent in that role, and they snatched stupidity from the jaws of intelligence. And so at the end of the day, it's like, look, you're not going to get the bang out of that you could have, and there's just no way of getting around it. I mean, and especially coming off the ancient one, it's like the same. Like, it's like my wife telling me, Armand, did you take the trash out today? No. The next day I could proceed to do the same thing. Like, you knew yesterday it was a problem. So it's just the same problem continues. It's just like, no. Is this going to be the show that's going to fail? You think? No, because I don't think America is sensitive enough to the issues that it's really going to matter to people. I think people are going to, because I feel like it matters to some degrees to some peoples and not that much to others. And so I think for some folks, they're going to watch it and say it's canon and this is who the character is. I think it'll bother some people, but at the end of the day, I think no. I think people are just going to watch it and enjoy it for what it is.
Well, I would say that yes, people are going to watch it. I don't think it's going to be as big a hit as the other shows, though. It's going to be much lower scale. It's going to drift along more until Defenders come out. And I might see a spike before Defenders, and then after that.
And I think the biggest detriment is who they've casted, because I think that's just been the most decisive part of the whole show. Not to say that he's not going to go do a good job. Of course, give him a chance. Yep. But I think that's been the biggest drawback for most people. And as we know with fanboys and fangirls, once they hook onto an idea, it's hard to let them go, even if they've been proven wrong. They'll still hold fast to that terrible thought that they've had in the beginning. So I think that's just going to be I think that's going to be the telling part, how well he does and how much he's going to surprise us. Or is he just going to fall into what people think? He's just not going to bring that presence. Because what I definitely want to see is how well do they play off of each other. You have to be able to see the relationship between Luke Cage and Iron Fist. That is important. If they have no chemistry, I don't see that show. I know it's about him mostly, just like Luke Cage. We didn't hear much.
You gotta have that.
You still have to get that build up if we're going to get to the Defenders. We have to see that.
Yeah, because Mike Coulter had a great relationship with Kristen Ritter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they had great chemistry.
You could tell the chemistry in them.
I mean, and I think those things matter. I mean, look, I'm like this. At the end of the day, everybody gets dragged out for their failures, right? Marvel is going from being like a fledgling, series of stories to they're an outright institution. Mm-hmm. And so this is still Disney. And so I'm like, Disney had a great track record until Song of the South. Song of the West. Some of y'all don't even know about. Zippity doo dah, zippity doo dah, zippity day.
Slavery ain't so bad.
It's before your time. All I'm saying is, issues of race are going. Look, they're for Iron Fist.
They basically had to make gargoyles to apologize for that.
Thank you. Basically. So I'm just like, do I think ultimately that Iron Fist is the straw that breaks the camel's back? No. Do I think if this happens again, that they're painting a massive bullseye on their back? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because I think people at this point are going to give them the pass because they're going to say, well, to be fair, by the time they had messed up Doctor Strange, you had already cast Fist, and you probably had started filming. Mm-hmm. It was too late to pivot and do anything else.
Right.
If it's like, so.
That happened.
I also need to know how the chemistry, if they're going to even touch on him and Misty Knight.
Yeah.
Like that.
I want Misty to lose her arm first.
Yeah, because I was feeling that. I was feeling that. In that episode where she almost...
I was like, oh, great.
Why do you still have an arm? Why do you still have this arm?
That's terrible.
But I think that's... It's her.
But I need a metal arm.
But I need to see how their relationship is going to do too, because that's a big one of the.
It's a history.
Danny Rand is the heart. He's the heart of their team. He brings them all. He always brings them together. He's always the hope in the heart of the team. So I think it's important to see how he does in the relationships with each other.
Right.
How a brotherhood, because they're not just friends, they're brothers.
Yeah.
The strong relationship between him and Misty, how she's a strong black woman, if you want to say that, whatever. But it takes a certain type of man to deal with that. And I can name one man that's dealing with that now. So you just, those relationships matter. And you have to flesh that out. And that just, you can't just go do adventures.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Wait,
hold on.
No, I want to get this comment. Is it just me, or does none of the actors playing the defenders pull off convincing believing that they can fight? That's from Nelson Penn.
Hey,
that means you have to have a good fight choreographer or a good cinematographer. Because now, admittedly, in Daredevil, that one scene in the hallway where they just
the second episode,
bananas.
That blew my mind. I was like, I'm in it. I'm in the show for the long run.
Yeah.
That was just amazing. And I think they said that was one take.
Yeah.
I think maybe they said it was like 1 or 2
They had
takes.
to do that a bunch of times to get it to one take, but
I mean, of course they have to.
Yeah.
No, but they've been like,
Was it one take or a single? I think it was a single camera too.
Single
camera,
single shot. Yeah, it was single shot.
That was
shot.
amazing. Yeah. That was amazing.
Charlie did well.
You know actually who I'd like to see pop up at some point? Monica Rambeau.
Of course. I want to see all the black women. All the black women that we can get.
Movies.
I want
You
my
need the movies though.
Spectre.
You need to see her in the movies.
Because that was another question that was brought up. I think it was by Belle. Where are the women of color? We got to see it in Luke Cage, and by God, all of those beautiful black women.
You got to find somebody that knows how to write them.
And they can't all be the same type of person.
But see, I'm not worried about that because I feel
I
like if
don't
they
want
deal with
Greg
Misty
Land touching another
Knight, I feel like
damn
that's
thing.
going to be much more of the norm. My thing is, to be honest, I'm much more saying more character development. Luke Cage doesn't work without Simone Mystic as Misty Knight.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I'm much more interested in seeing that character develop than I am behind her having a relationship or anything else. The same way they pulled a curve with the Punisher. I'm like, look, everybody just acknowledge the fact that you need to give women of color. They need to give her her own show.
Daughters of the Dragon.
Boom.
Boom. And that could get us another person of character.
Color.
Get an person of character. Well, she
Color.
better have
Person of
character, but it has to be a person of color, and she's gonna be Asian. So we get to see more Asian people, actual Asian people playing Asian characters.
Colin Wing is
she's the Iron Fist.
Yeah, but I'm just saying them in. I'm saying
them
separate.
Well, I mean,
I would love that.
It'll all depend. It'll all depend on how Iron Fist plays out, how the Defenders plays out. Because remember, Punisher wasn't even
that's why
one of their original planned shows, but the popularity of John Bernthal playing the character on Daredevil, they were like, no, we have to make it.
Why we got him?
Yeah.
This is a cash cow.
So with the momentum of Misty Knight and seeing how well Colleen Wing does on Iron Fist, then I'm sure that with the support of the audience, Marvel and Disney are going to be like, okay, yeah, we kind of have to make this show.
Here's the thing though. If they do a Punisher, I feel like honestly the only way they're going to get it right, because it's on Netflix anyway, you have to do it somewhere near the word of what was done with Punisher Max.
Yes, Garth Ennis.
Yeah, because anything else less than that, where it's anywhere near the whole white gloves and white boots, no, I don't want to see that. Because matter of fact, they hinted at so many shades of Punisher Max in the Daredevil run. I think the first or second episode when he appeared, when he went and pretty much wiped out that Irish pub, that had Max written all over that.
That was beautiful. That was some of the most beautiful pieces.
I was like, that's brutal, but I love it.
It was great.
All right, so for the last
part of season 2.
So for the last 5 minutes, let's talk about Legion and the proposed X-Men TV show.
Okay.
Who's been watching Legion? Because I haven't watched past the first episode.
The first episode was ignorant.
Yeah, well.
I mean that in the using the slang vernacular.
Yes.
Like bad means good.
This bad means good. No, I mean, look, I'll say this.
Not bad, meaning bad.
That the first episode was so good. The concern is how much of a budget did FX give them? Because at the end of because there was so much stuff going on, I was like, this is better than some X-Men films I've seen. It was.
I heard that too.
It was
Watch
better.
Legion sober.
Oh no! No. Watch Legion in a good mood. Take your antidepressants. Make sure you have a cup of chamomile tea, because you will drive yourself
and a comfy chair.
Yes, you will drive yourself to a dark place. But no, I mean, look.
Should I watch this show?
Yes.
Yeah.
for you, yes, for you are built for anything, so you can watch it.
Yeah.
For the more sensitive viewer, you might need to think about it. But no, I mean, look, at the end of the day, the reason why I like Legion is that comic book shows, we have gotten to a point now, the audience is broad enough. It is time to do some much more thoughtful writing.
Oh, yes.
And look, when you have people who are mental health professionals praising the depiction of mental health issues in that show, it tells you how much thought and diligence was done in executing that character. Because, I mean, I'm going to defer to you in a second, but I felt like I walked away from that first episode and I was like, oh God, y'all could have just given me a straight movie. You could have just added another hour and I could have been done because it was that well done. I don't know where the character goes. I don't know how much space they have for an arc, but what they started with, it's promising is an understatement.
Yeah, because the pilot was 90 minutes, if I remember.
Yeah,
right.
I think so, yeah.
But yeah, no, I think just in terms of the visual aesthetic of the show, the great performances from guys like, Dan Stevens, who you're hearing more about, and it's going to be in Beauty and the Beast. Aubrey Plaza is in there. She's fantastic. Yes. Well, when you think of like the deadpan character she played on Parks and Recreation, so to the point that Lifetime thought enough, had the presence of mind to cast her as the voice of Grumpy Cat in a Christmas movie. To this where it's just the polar opposite, where she's so hyperactive and so energetic and just hilarious.
Yeah.
And also, there's that line where it starts to get disturbing, where she's talking to him and she's like, yeah, they're going to come for you and they're going to kill you. And she just says it so gleefully.
With a smile on her face.
Yeah.
Like manic, essentially.
Yes, exactly.
Dude, you killed me. It's all good.
Yeah.
I'm not mad with you.
Yeah.
But one thing I wanted to bring up as well was actually two things. I want to get to Steve's point. And there's a very simple explanation for that. I still kind of wish they had introduced the New Mutants first and then brought along Legion, because that's kind of where Legion came from and that's kind of where he fit in.
Yeah.
And I mean, I feel like for those that really don't know the character, I kind of felt like you needed the New Mutants to understand what Legion was, because those were two very tough comic books to really kind of get through when Legion was introduced, because I mean, his power is unchecked.
Yeah.
He's practically one of the most, if not the most powerful mutant. Like, if he just wanted to change reality, he could do it in a thought. And that's probably part of the reason why he hasn't popped up as much over the years. But that's a bad mofo right there.
But
hold on one second. Hold on one second. And to simply get to Steven's question, Steve Howard asks, how do you guys feel about Fox's X Universe and the MCU being separate? That's kind of simple. The X-Men universe by itself has more or less existed without the rest of the Marvel universe. You could tell X-Men stories and don't need everybody else. I mean, you were just blessed if Captain America or Spider-Man or any other Marvel character showed up.
Yeah.
Because X-Men, to me, as long as I've been reading, is always kind of, it's like the X-Men were over here. Mm-hmm. The rest of the Marvel U was
and that's why the Avengers versus X-Men was such a big thing for
yeah.
And that was my whole thing, because I know like a lot of people keep, I remember when X-Men Apocalypse came out and people were like, just give the rights back to Marvel, and it's like, that doesn't need to happen. Right. And furthermore, it's not going to, but bottom line is, a lot of people really kind of want this to happen. It was like, why? Like, there's already so much that goes on in the X-Men universe, and you have so many splinter groups and spin-offs that you can do. We've already had, and the thing with, whatever you can say about like how Fox has handled the franchise in the last, 15, 17 years, since 20. They had almost 20 years. Bottom line is, they've been able to actually rebound the main on the main movies after Last Stand. Mm-hmm. They've been able to rebound with Wolverine.
I don't disagree with anything the three of us said.
And especially with Deadpool. And that was the kicker. Because when you get to Deadpool...
And let me add this, since I've seen it, and they did a good job with Logan.
I heard that was...
Okay, but let's have a dose of sanity for a second. Okay, the X-Men haven't been handled well yet. For the first 3 films were good. This is a manifestation of Marvel's poor financial management back when they were about to go bankrupt and they had to sell the rights to somebody.
They had to hold them out to somebody.
Right. And ever since then, the first 3 X-Men movies were horrible. How do I know the X-Men films are bad? Because you're about to get X-Men The Last Stand again. Because that's the exact plot line for Supernova. It's the Dark Phoenix again. you had one writer writing X-Men and look, this is the time period of sequential storytelling, right?
Mm-hmm.
Chris Claremont wrote the X-Men for 20 years as a straight continuous story. And instead of leading on any of that, we're going to keep throwing darts at the same thing over and over again. My only other comment is Legion, I never encountered that character through the New Mutants. I read that character like 30 years later when they were bringing all the X-Men teams together in the Shadow King story. So for me, it's the I didn't need to know anything other than he was Xavier's son, which is unnecessary for the story. He has multiple personality disorder, and each personality has its own power, he has no control over them, and one can take over power at any given time, which is why I love the allusion to the Yellow Devil.
Yes.
And see, as in like that it's not just let's go save David. Oh, David is a problem. Just because David's having a good day now does not mean on Wednesday we need to kill David.
That's not the same David that we left yesterday. And it's funny how you brought up when you came in, which goes to show us both our entry points into that character. Because like I said, that character's not exactly easy write, and it's not an easy watch.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just amazed right now that Fox is handling him well on television.
Well, he's on FX, and you always stress the fact that
FX is just, that's go ahead.
Right, but you picked the right network. He's not on Fox.
Right.
Oh,
Right. That's what I mean.
If we were on regular Fox, we'd be like,
it'd be
like Minority.
If we were on regular Fox, he'd have been on Gotham by now somehow. They would have found a way to destroy on Gotham. He just react like it'd be like square peg, round hole, some shit going on.
I mean, you can change reality. Why not show it?
But see this is the thing I just don't understand.
Let's have a Malcolm Comics on television.
Dark Claw. Let's see Dark Claw.
Why does something succeed more in one realm and doesn't in another? I just
see. I'm one of these
Take
people.
out
Writing.
marketing team.
Yes.
Writing.
Yes.
Marketing.
Honestly, I'm one of these people
That is-
that like doesn't get so like. I think that's where I kind of like split away from like the rest of the folks here, where at the end of the day, I just like a good story.
Right,
If it's self-contained, I'm not letting all of my fandom into play depending on what the thing depending on what the property is. I mean, one good example of that goes back to Blade, where Blade from the movie totally distanced itself from the comics. Yeah. And, obviously you have the benefit of that being a lesser known character, but at the same time, they took, elements of the comic and said, alright, this is how we can make it work within a film context. So that's kind of how I've approached a lot of, like, the X-Men films, as much as I'm sure people will argue with me, and I see you making your face, I don't care. That's the thing. That's the great thing.
That's great. Because you're wrong. Because you're wrong. And wrong is all get out.
But
I love you though.
No, but I don't.
You're the smartest brother I know.
But I think you're
Guess
also
what?
misinterpreting our stances. I don't think we don't care about story. We definitely care about the story.
No, I'm not.
But you said that you were like, unlike the panel here, you want a self-contained story and great storytelling. We want great storytelling.
What I mean is that yes, obviously we all care about a good story. What I'm saying,
smart writing.
What I'm saying is, there's a point where what the Keanu Reeves movie?
No, we're talking about the TV show, dog.
Oh, Constantine! I love that show.
Okay, we've already established a divergence here between the panels.
Let him finish.
Oh, y'all will interrupt that.
Like, I'm just not someone who lets certain elements of, what I know, like, okay, this is so hard for me to explain because obviously someone's always going to, like, kind of try and discredit me on this, and this was another thing I talked about, like, with the X-Men films. I always liked, the only thing I cared about is, in terms of the X-Men films, honestly, was...
Cyclops.
Not Cyclops.
Wolverine?
The relationship between Charles and Magneto.
Right.
Yeah.
And as long as you had that cornerstone there, even if certain things for other characters weren't up to the level of the comics, I was still kind of on board because they had that good foundation that made the individual films.
They just had two different philosophies, which has always been.
Which is why I loved First Class and seeing how that. Yeah, and seeing how that progressed.
But see, I agree
Because
with you on that.
okay.
You know what I'm saying? I think that was the better parts of the X-Men movies.
Which is why I'm saying, like, when you think about how people kind of soured after The Last Stand and after X-Men Origins, and then being able to come back with First Class and bringing back in the general audience, and then Days of Future Past, to that point, became the most critically acclaimed and the most commercially successful film in the franchise, and that was just 3 years ago.
But let me say this though. Hold on.
But no, to speak to that point. Oh my God! But to speak to your point, before we get to that, to speak to that point, that's casting, because to have that cornerstone, it was perfect. You having best friends. Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen are great friends. So that is translated so well in those films that you see them playing these opposing figures. That I think that takes specially trained characters. They've been actors for decades, and they're really, 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 really great friends. So they know how to play off of each other and how to make those characters work. So, and I think that all the gripes that we've heard about X-Men, it's never been Xavier or Magneto. We've never complained about them.
Right.
It's been other elements. Storm.
Everything else.
Storm.
How about the Halle Berry?
Storm. What the F?
How about that Halle Berry?
What
Hold
the
on.
F?
I'm almost got the last point that we're gonna wrap up.
Y'all have been talking about it. I hear you on Storm. I hear you on Magneto and Xavier. The X-Men are an ensemble. Two characters do not make it. Look, the whole reason why these characters work. Look, the original book got canceled when it was Xavier and Magneto. When you bring in this giant X-Men, and all of a sudden it's international. It is an ensemble story. If those characters don't grow, don't develop, because remember, the whole story is about being an outsider and trying to find a place in the world where the world wants something from you. Like X-Men 2 is like, we want your abilities, but we don't want you as people. It goes back to the same argument behind the bigger issue of the MCU. Don't go away from the source. Look, deviate from the source material where it does not work to achieve a good product. Don't deviate from the source material when that's the heart of the story. The heart of the story is being an outsider and trying to say, I am willing to step out on faith to try to save a world that doesn't deserve me, because one day it'll be worthy of the people who come after. And that's why the X-Men films suck. There is no larger message other than, hey, you can't separate them from the X-Men films. There is no larger, there's no philosophical conversation. There's barely one there. You have the Holocaust scene in the first one, and you barely have anything else. Most of the writing is wasted. So y'all can sit and give me chapter and verse. I'm gonna get on my soapbox. Somebody call Chris Claremont and let him write a movie.
But Sentinel.
Mic drop.
All right, so on that note, we're going to wrap up this edition of PCU Fantom Comics. We want to thank the Peanut Gallery. Give yourselves a hand. We want to thank everybody here. Give yourselves a hand.
This brother has infinite patience. Cut off by more people. Yelled at by more people.
Nobody yelled at him. We're just all animated. Oh yeah, you did.
See, they gonna go out and fight though. Matter of fact, everybody out there in the audience, give yourselves a thumbs up. Let's see the thumbs in the hearts before we finish this off.
Yeah, more hearts.
So again, this is Pop Culture Uncovered. You can find us on the web at popcultureuncovered.com. You can email us. Email us at pcupress@gmail.com. Twitter and Instagram at PC Uncovered. And we also have a Tumblr under Pop Culture Uncovered. You can find this podcast, which is what this is going to turn into, on iTunes, Stitcher, anything that you can listen to. If you're one of those random 2 or 3 people out there that have a Windows phone, there's an app for that. Again, like I said, I saw Logan. I enjoyed Logan for what it was. There's going to be some things. There's going to be some things I will not spoil it for you. But I will say as well, this weekend you need to see Get Out. That is going to be talked about next week. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're out.
Good night. And look at my shirt. Woo!
Y'all gonna see me next tomorrow.
It's garnet.
Yay.
My boyfriend got it for me.
All right, y'all.
Jesus.
You better pick them up.
You just took March out, man.